All right, Nick. Here we go. Headed to the top of the ninth. Once again, the Reds come back. They lead 5-3 against the Colorado Rockies. Umpiring at this moment right now. I know the chat is displeased.
Just find a way. Just find a way.
I like to say, as I always do, I like to say just one time. Just need this one time right here.
One time. Hey, folks, just a reminder, if this is your first time checking out Chatterbox Reds and you are watching long after today's game ended, as we know many people do, you can click directly underneath in the show notes, and there will be a timestamp that says full game recap. Click that, and you can hear us discuss the game in detail in a more traditional podcast-type format in case you don't want to watch us jabronis react to the top of the ninth inning.
That's right. All right, guys. I do want to say I do think that the strike zone ticker is a little too low right now. I don't know who's controlling that or how it's controlled, but I think that I'm not saying that those pitches were strikes, but I don't know if they were as off as the little strike zone thing made it look. Not trying to defend the umpire, just saying. Thank you for OJ's 94 Bronco. Shave the heads, he says. And he's going to keep at that. I can't shave my head. I tell you what, I have a situation going on. I don't know if you can tell. It's called a receding hairline. It's happening. Like button. Good call. That's a great call by Mark. Mark,
yes, likes
that's
for
a leader.
Dubs.
That's a leader. He's leading from the front. Mark's leading from the front. We do need likes, guys. Need them fast. Buck Farmer, baby. What's his usage rate, by the way? Where are we at on Buck Farmer?
I feel like he pitches every freaking night, man. I mean, Diaz obviously needed today off.
Yeah, no, Diaz 100% needed a day off. I think Diaz needs like 3 days off.
Buck Farmer, he did have yesterday off, but he threw 26 pitches on Monday. Didn't pitch on Sunday, but threw 11 on Saturday and 16 on Friday. So that is 53 pitches in the last 5 days.
All right. Well, you can have a day off tomorrow. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Nice pitch, man. That is disgusting. Chat, I can't watch you anymore. You guys are ahead of me.
Yeah.
Can't do it. That's the only negative thing to me getting cable. I'm way behind now. Way behind.
Strike three. Boom.
It's big out. First one's always a big one, isn't it, Nick?
Well, and that's their best hitter, too.
Do they even have good hitters?
Nah,
I'm kidding, of course, man. I'm very sarcastic today. I need to calm down. People are taking me way too serious. I was very mad at Ellie earlier. Very mad at Ellie.
Full transparency, I did not watch a pitch until about the fourth inning. I did listen to the game on the radio. I had to make a 40-minute trip to drop something off and back for the day job.
Understand.
So I didn't really get to see a whole lot of Andrew Abbott today, but except for the end, which what I saw looked great. So
what? Who'd you see?
Abbott. I only saw the good Abbott.
Abbott was fine today. Listen, I got on the Ballpark Pal app. What's it called?
Statcast?
No, not Statcast. No.
All right.
No.
He's got it. Two down.
The Ballpark Pal.
Oh yeah. The 25% out. Yeah. It was. Yeah.
So the biggest thing was that Abbott kept him to all solo jobs, man. That's a big deal.
Didn't walk a batter.
Yeah. Struck out. I don't know how many struck out. 10 plus. I know
10.
that. 10?
10, yep. Yeah, I mean, when you don't walk guys.
Good things happen, huh, Nick?
You can survive.
Come on, Buck. Let's do the damn. What a pitch. This guy is freaking nails right now.
Buck Farber came in ready to seal the deal.
We'll get into that, sir, boy, in a little bit about Ellie.
Oh, we got it.
Come on, Buck. Good pitch. I would have liked Melee to be able to stick that a little bit better. I don't know if it would have mattered, but he kind of did the old drag it across the plate. And that ball's tanked.
Yeah.
That's never easy. All right, I can't watch the chat. You guys, I gotta let you go.
Yeah.
Gotta let you go, chat. See you. Talk to you in a minute.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Ball's just tanked.
He's had a good day. He'd come in struggling, too.
Colorado has played well today, I think. The Reds let them off the hook a little bit with their relievers.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they're pitching.
This guy looks like a guy that stars in a big old movie where comes in and starts spitting a bunch of tobacco everywhere.
Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
Let's go. Let's go. They say they all even out, Nick. They say those hard hit balls, they all even out. Reds are just lacing balls all over the field earlier in this game. Couldn't buy a hit. Little bit of a dink by Ellie. Little bit of blast by Fraley. Next thing you know, the Reds, Nick, 11 in a row. They beat the Colorado Rockies 5-3. And you know what? I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about outside the fact that this baseball team is just something else.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the wall, bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Red win! Win! Liner to right field. Genius, the first run ever. With 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Does it have a chance? The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
Nick, I'm starting to wonder if it's ever going to end. I think we're in a position at this point, Nick, where I have to remember so many things. And it's not really healthy to be superstitious like this. However, I see the super chats. I know Fireball's wanted. I got it working. I'm working on it, okay? Nick, you have to count how many that is. Now, my concern is we get to a point where, no disrespect, but we're going to get to a point where you can't count that high. Do you got it in you today?
Gonna have to bring in my 4-year-old who is an expert counter on how to count that high, because I don't. I'm out of fingers. We'll have to keep rolling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11!
I'll tell you what, we better not have too much fun on this show because people don't like when we have fun. Hate to see it.
Trace, I thought the singing was gonna make the Reds lose today. That's what I had saw.
Yeah. That was gonna end the streak. Turns out we might just have to play that unwritten one more time. The problem is when you try to sing to that and it doesn't sync up on the whole stream, it doesn't look the best. If we're being completely honest, it doesn't look the best. Drew
Baby,
Garrison coming in with a
baby.
super chat again. I'll tell you what, I got to get the super chats really fast, and then we got to talk about this baseball game and this Reds team. It wasn't all pretty today. I'll be honest, I was very, very frustrated for a small amount of time, but I kind of got myself back around to it. Anon76, again, tell you, again, I want to make a public service announcement to everybody that's in the chat. Please make sure you can pay rent. Please make sure that you can afford whatever you are providing us. We really do appreciate it. By all means, we love it. But I don't want you to feel like you have to do this. Any chance Elon Musk would invest in Chatterbox? I'm going broke. Get out the fireball, Trace. The Abstract 7 says YouTube won't allow me to donate $11, so here's 20 for 11 in a row. That's dumb. They should let you do 11. Thank you for the 20, Abstract. And Drew Garrison says, I'm out of things to say, but super chatting equals wins. So far, it's pretty much of a science. I mean, I don't know how many times I got to tell everybody, but if you like this stream, it equals wins, and it's continued to do that every single night. Nick, your overall impressions, I know you have a little bit of a, what would the right term to be used here? You have a little bit of an asterisk today. You weren't able to see the whole entire game. I think you missed the first 3 or 4 innings just based off of, day jobs. And other than that, I don't know if you have a box score recap. If not, we'll fight through it. Of course he does. The prepared, the present, the one and only Nick Kirby with your box score recap.
Yeah, I did actually listen to the whole game. I just had to make a trip for work, so I was literally in the car. So I got to listen. Our guys, Tommy Thrall and Jeff Brantley, do as good of a job as anyone and kept me informed. And then I rushed home and got the notes in, and here we are, 11 in a row. I don't even know what to say. Let's just
Unbelievable.
Tell you what happened because I have no words. All right, the Colorado Rockies took a 3-0 lead on Andrew Abbott. They hit 3 solo home runs. Abbott, though, to his credit, he battled through 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs. Big key of the game, no walks, 10 strikeouts. Your Cincinnati Reds, their comeback started in the 5th. Joey Votto was hit by a pitch. Tyler Stevenson, who had a great day, 3 hits, singled. Will Benson walked. And then Luke Mailey had a 2 RBI single. That made it 3-2. TJ Friedl, he then singled to tie the game at 3. Side note on TJ Friedl, he has 5 hard hit balls since 7 o'clock last night. Seems to be doing pretty well. Jonathan India got called for batter's interference after strike 3, as the Reds actually could have scored more runs in this inning. Could have been a huge turning point in the game, but nonetheless, it was not. Lucas Sims and Ian Jabot, they pitched scoreless 7th and 8th as the Cincinnati Reds bullpen just continues to be absolutely electric. And then in the bottom of the 8th, Ellie De La Cruz, a little dinking double, and Jake Fraley absolutely tattooed a home run, 108.6 off the bat, 5-3 Cincinnati Reds, home run number 9 on the season for Jake Fraley. And then Buck Farmer, because it doesn't matter who the Reds throw in the bullpen in the 9th inning or the 8th inning or the 6th inning. These guys all just find a way to get it done. Buck Farmer gets it done. Your Cincinnati Reds have an 11-game win streak, their longest winning streak since 1957. Did the 1975 Reds have a win streak this long? No. Did the 1976 Reds have a win streak this long? No. Did the 1990 Reds have a win streak this long? No, they did not. And Trace, this is my stat of the day.
Stat of the day, stat of the day, stat of the day. Go ahead.
The Cincinnati Reds now have 26 comeback wins through 75 games. Last year, through 75 games, the Reds had a total of 26 wins. Reds now 5 games over 500 at 40-35. Reds are 33 and 30 since April 24th. What more is there to say? The Cincinnati Reds, still in first place in the NL Central. We're monitoring the situation in Milwaukee. I don't know what to say, man. This is just incredible.
Unbelievable, man. I seen Clay, my shout out Clay, big time fan. He brought up the Georgia shirt. I wore the Georgia shirt today for Tyler Stevenson. I seen on the Father's Day package that Tyler Stevenson was a Georgia fan. I thought, you know what, today Tyler Stevenson's going to hit a bomb, and it didn't happen, but that's okay. That's here nor there. I won't hold that against him. But we're in a situation at this point where it's almost like the Reds can do no wrong. It's fairy tale land. It's fairy tale land. It's the best place on earth is Great American Ballpark. It genuinely feels like today I got really frustrated at the beginning of this game because I felt like it was the first time, not this year, that's the wrong word to use, but it felt like we weren't being what our identity was. We weren't making really smart baseball plays, and two in particular. One was not letting Ellie try to steal a bag right in front of your eyes with Fraley up to bat, and he lines, hits a fly ball to right field. We get doubled off, and then Ellie swings at a 3-0 pitch when again, we can get in that debate later. I don't want to do it right off the top of the show, but it just felt like, I know he hit it 111 miles an hour, but it felt like their pitcher was just struggling bad. He wasn't able to find the zone. That turns into a double play, so we got ran out of an inning, and then we get in the situation where we had the whole India interference call, which we'll get into a little bit. I really wasn't all that beside myself with it. It's just the fact that we could persevere through that, all of those things happening, and I know the Rockies aren't great, but just those are the types of things that happen in a baseball game where you're like, okay, it's just not our day. We're going to lose. We'll keep it moving. But this team, again, shout out to the starting pitching for always giving up one or two runs early in the game. They don't give up 9, but they give up like 1 or 2 early in the game to make sure we can get that comeback win. And at this point, is it sustainable? Don't know, don't care. Don't know, don't care, Nick. That's who they are. I don't know if I've ever felt like when I've watched a Reds game as confident as I am in this baseball team to win a game when they're losing. Like, they were down 3-0 today, and I was like, whatever. I mean, they're gonna win this game. They're hitting too many balls hard. They're gonna get to this bullpen, and sure enough, here we are again. I can't tell you how thankful I am to everybody that comes in here and watches this show every single day, downloads the podcast. This team is incredible. The vibes around this ball club is incredible. The ballpark energy is absolutely elite right now. I'm glad that the fan base has shown the support for this team that they deserve, Nick. Any other thoughts that you have as you number crunch here?
Staring at the blank page before you. Open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find, reaching for something in the distance.
This is actually good.
So close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions. Help me, Trace.
I can't help you. You're on your own, dog.
We're gonna
Cheers for that. I know we got 1,000 super chats right now, and I promise I'm going to get to them all. I'm trying to hold a relative decent show for once. I'm like, my last 2 shows that we've done, I'm like, dude, what have we talked about? We're just sitting here just laughing because this shit is funny. Excuse me, kids show. I'm sorry. It's funny. This makes no sense. You don't win this many baseball games in a row in Major League Baseball. It just doesn't happen. Especially when you consider what our starting pitching looks like. I mean, it's just, whatever. We'll keep it rolling, baby. We'll see what happens with the Braves, but who cares at this point? And I also want to bring up something that people kept talking about. They're like, oh, we should push Abbott. Would you consider pushing Abbott to pitch against Atlanta because they're a better team? No, they all count the same. All these wins count the same. You take the wins when you can get them. We got a bad team in the Rockies. Let's finish them off. Let's play. If we lost against the Rockies today, and we beat the Braves on Friday, what's it matter? It's the same thing. Let's get into Andrew Abbott really quickly. I thought he looked comfortable. He looked good. I mean, yeah, he gave up some home runs, but not one time did I think, oh, he's not throwing the ball well. He's spotting his pitches. They thought he was in the zone. He didn't walk anybody. I mean, I'm not saying, I don't want to call him a veteran. He's a rookie, but he looks and feels to me. Dare I say the analogy is not going to be a perfect one, but it reminds me of Bronson Arroyo-esque at times with him. It's like, yeah, he might not be like overwhelmingly like wow. He might not have a huge wow factor, but he just seemingly gets guys out and he throws the ball well. He throws the ball over the plate. You didn't really get to see a lot of him, but I guess the few pitches you've seen, did you get any impressions from Abbott?
Well, the pitches that I saw, he looked great because I only saw the last
everybody
couple.
out.
Yeah. He was striking everyone out at the end. But no, looking through his StatCast data today, he only allowed 4 hard hit balls. And in his first couple starts where he had those incredible 3 starts without allowing a run, he had given up quite a few hard hit balls. So I think you could probably make a case that he might have pitched better today than he's pitched in those last couple starts. But that's baseball. Sometimes it works out, one way or the other. But I mean, 10 strikeouts and no walks. That's just incredible for a guy in his 4th big league start. 17 swing and misses today.
Yep.
And he only threw 88 pitches. Just what an incredible start to this young man's career. And right now he's the ace of the team.
Yeah.
And he's made 4 starts, and the Reds have won 11 in a row. I don't know how that all computes, but I think it's factual.
I mean, I tell you what we need. We need positive energy around Graham Ashcraft. We need him to come back and throw the ball well. This team needs him.
Yeah.
We need him. It is one of those things where we are playing with fire a little bit because we can't continue to drop behind. You would like to think we can't continue to drop behind and continue to play this well and win. But I don't know. Maybe we should. I don't know. None of the stuff from a baseball frame of reference makes much sense to the average person if they were to look at what this Reds team's done over the past 11 games. And they've not had one game where they've just beat the brakes off of somebody that I can even remember, Nick. You probably can pull up the scores really quickly, but I made the joke the other day, there's no way that we can't go a game without just having a save situation or a save opportunity for Diaz, and now Diaz wasn't in there today. Shout out Buck Farmer, came in and slammed the door. Really shout out to all 3 of them. Jabot, Sims. Sims looked electric, by the way. I don't know. We want to extend everybody on this show, I get. But we should probably start having some serious considerations on some of these relievers. Now, I'm not saying crazy long-term because we both know that relievers are very fickle. But your overall thoughts on just in general the back end of this bullpen today and what you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, just night after night, these guys continue to perform well. Sims, he threw 9 pitches, 2 strikeouts, like just dominated his inning of work. And you kind of want Sims to go a little longer, right? But maybe part of the reason he's been so effective is because David Bell has been a stickler about he's only pitching 1 inning. I'm not pushing these guys. I don't want a situation like Alexis Diaz, who still has converted 25 consecutive saves, but has struggled a little bit of late. Ian Jabot has 8 wins, Trace.
Yeah. Every time you bring him in, we find a way to score and win.
He's got some good energy. And then Buck Farmer, I mean, he's got an ERA under 2.5 right now. I mean, he's just been incredible, and he's been used in so many different spots. Buck Farmer's come in like the 3rd and 4th inning to get out of jams. He's come in and saved games. He's kind of been that guy that David Bell can really throw wherever, and he's had a lot of success in any spot. So
yeah. David Brown brings up a good point in the chat that I seen. There's a lot of good points in the chat. I want to point some of them out. David Brown said that Duarte has slowly kind of made himself look like he might be a part of the mix because it's one thing to come in, Nick, in my opinion, and get guys out from time to time, and you go 2 or 3 games and you throw a scoreless inning, and maybe then you give up a run or 2, and you're like, okay, yeah, they're a decent arm or whatever. But it's another thing to come in and just wipe out the side and look overwhelmingly powerful. Like you feel like that person, and that's what Duarte's done more than anything to me. Yes, he's thrown scoreless innings, but when I watch him throw, and it's like the stuff that he has, it looks and feels like it plays with not with the best of them maybe, but it feels like and looks like it should be a part of the bullpen for the future. Legamina's look like that at times. And I don't know if it's fair to have a take on Legamina, the fact that he only pitched like once in a week. He's a little bit of rusty maybe when he came in the other night. But we do need some more help in this bullpen. We've asked them to do a lot. I know Chapman has been brought up numerous times in the chat and also outside this chat. Maybe that's what Nick Krall's working on. Maybe he's more or less focused on adding 1 or 2 really good pieces of this bullpen to where he can give some of these guys a little more time and relax them. And I'm not suggesting he doesn't need to go get a starting pitcher. But if you want to talk about the playoffs, if you want to talk about the playoffs, Nick, there's a chance that this starting pitching could kind of piecemeal itself together and look pretty formidable, right? And I know I'm being incredibly optimistic in saying what I'm getting ready to say, right? But Green speaks for himself. You'd like to think and hope and pray that Graham Ashcraft is going to come back and throw the ball well. And if he does, then he's a formidable arm, like it or not. Lodolo is maybe the biggest wild card out of all of them because he's hurt. I mean, I would call him injured. We'll see if he comes back. But again, this is a long time from now. Playoffs are a long ways away, to be fair, on both sides of the aisle. But then you have Andrew Abbott, and you can say whatever you want, but whether it's Ben Lively or Weaver or whoever it may be, who knows? At the end of the year, Connor Phillips might be that guy. I don't know, Nick. My main point is I don't think Nick Krall is going to have to go out and try to get 3 reliable starting arms for this all to make sense in the end. He might only need 1. And you add a couple bullpen pieces, Nick, and I think you're onto something. I really do.
Yeah, it's an interesting way of phrasing it. Because if you remember back to 2021, the Reds were able to get 3 quality relievers in Givens, Sessa, and Wilson without really giving up a whole lot. So would you rather have 3 or 4 relievers? Maybe not 4. That's probably really pushed. But I don't know. Would you rather have 3 quality relievers or 1 starter that's maybe good or maybe not? It's just a different way of building the team. There certainly is some concerns about innings limits for some of these younger guys too as you get later in the season. But Nick Lodolo's injury, if he's able to come back and be effective, he got all that time off, so that's not going to be an issue. Hunter Green taking a break right now could be, the longer the Reds can play well, like the more time the Reds can buy Hunter Green, right? And Graham Ashcraft, he's taking a break too. So maybe some of these things that have felt really terrible right now, somehow the Reds have just pushed right through it. Haven't let it impact the way the team's played of late. Could actually be a benefit later in the year.
Yep. Scott brings up an excellent point in the chat as well. He brings up a statistic. He says 0 for 26 with runners on base for Abbott is crazy. And I wanted to at least point that out before we moved on to Fairchild to AAA. You ready to go to Fairchild or no?
Yeah, let's do it.
I wish I could say that I love this move. I don't think that I do. I know the 3 catcher thing gives us flexibility, and it does allow us to have, I guess if more or less I get the concept of the 3 catchers, and it's at least I'm not a fan of Fairchild. At least I wasn't, at the Brass Band Festival, of course. I've come around on the fact that he provides value in the outfield defensively, maybe more than many people want to give him credit for. And he's starting to play well. And it's just like, I don't love that, if we're being honest. I don't love it. And it's a necessary evil, maybe, but your overall thoughts on Fairchild.
This is the first position player move in a long time where I felt, wow, that guy doesn't deserve to be in AAA. There's been some other ones that have gone down. Like Jose Barrero had played pretty well for what we were expecting out of him, but it's not anywhere.
Nice.
But it's not anywhere close to Stuart Fairchild. And this is what good teams have. They have major league caliber players in their AAA team, on the AAA team,
right,
that they can call up at any point. Yeah, the 3 catchers, obviously it protects them as the season goes on. Also, the thing I don't know is, does Kirk Casale or Luke Maile have any trade value? If those guys have trade value, those are the kind of players that could be flipped for a reliever if you have a team that's desperate for a catcher. So that's another thing to consider. Those guys don't have options. Stuart Fairchild has. So it's just a really crappy thing for poor Stewart, but it helps the team overall. And obviously, I think the Reds can live without Stuart Fairchild, right? I don't think it's going to be necessarily something that kills them. And then, I know a lot of the conversation shifted to like Nick Senzel versus Stuart Fairchild. What I will say is Nick Senzel, but neither one of those guys are going to play against right-handed pitching. At least we hope not, right?
Correct.
Nick Senzel has hit left-handed pitching at a higher level than Stuart Fairchild. I think Stuart Fairchild is a better overall player, but how many at-bats are either one of them going to get against right-handed pitching? And then, of course, obviously Nick Senzel can also play multiple positions, which just makes pinch hitting late in games and all those kind of things a little bit easier. One more thing on Fairchild. I was thinking today, a guy that he kind of reminds me of? Stuart Fairchild's not necessarily, he's not a star, but he's been a quality outfielder for the Reds that any position you put him in, He typically helps the team, can play all three positions and play them well defensively. Kind of reminds me of a guy during the Reds' last stretch of good baseball, Chris Heisey.
Yeah, Heisey.
Kind of that type player where he's not a star.
What number was Heisey?
28.
28. You got it, man. Now you're stepping up. Big time, Nick. It's between Senzel and Fairchild. I guess I just valued the fact that I thought Fairchild played the outfield really, really well. That's usually the position group. That's the position group, in my opinion, that needs the most help defensively. It also is the position group that I feel like probably is the only area that I think that deserves to have a pinch hitter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get the idea of saying that, yeah, you can pinch hit late in games and all that, but Matt McLean doesn't need to get pinch hit for. Ellie's doesn't need to get pinch hit for. Spencer Steer does not need to get pinch hit for. Maybe you could make the case that Votto could get pinch hit for, but the truth is they're not going to pinch hit for Votto unless something drastically is happening, Nick. I mean, you can say whatever you want about left-handed pitching, but they're just not going to do that. So I don't love it. I don't love it. I also like to bring up the fact that I thought Stewart had, good sprint speed. And Nick Senzel's not that far of a drop-off either, so I'm not trying to turn this into a big topic of conversation, but I just feel a little bit, I don't know, I feel for Fairchild a little bit, I guess is what I'm getting at. Not trying to get too soft here on this show. Speaking of not being soft, I do want to get into one thing really, really quickly, and I know, Nick, it's a shame that you didn't get a chance to see the game, or this part of the game, so I don't know how much input you want to get on it or not. I put out a tweet that said that I got on Ellie a little bit, and I know people took it one way or the other. Some people thought it was great. Some people couldn't stand it at all. I'm not against swinging at 3-0 pitches. Not at all. I think just like other sports, there's a time and place. You got to know time and score. You got to have a feel for the game. You got to know what position you're in and what the opposing team is in. The opposing team just went to the bullpen. They had a guy that was on the mound that just got there 2 hours before the game, it felt like, or whatever it was. And at the end of it, he couldn't find the zone. Right before that at bat, Jonathan India grinded out a bat like this team does night in and night out. He grinded out a bat. He got a walk. This guy's all over the place. 3-0. If Ellie hits a home run in the stands, of course I look like an idiot for saying you shouldn't swing 0. And for all the people that are going to say, well, that was the best pitch he's going to get hit in the at-bat, you're probably right because he was going to get a ball eventually. The guy looked lost out there. And I know he hit it 111 miles an hour. But this is where, in my opinion, StatCast and all of the analytics can get in the way of what just a good baseball play is in that situation, just in that spot. Listen, if it was a 2-run game, late in the game, 8th inning, 9th inning, sure, 3-0, see if you can't hit it in the stands, tie the game up. But it was early in the game. You're trying to build up what I would call pitch equity in all these relievers, and I just hate that move. I hate it because I'm willing to pass it to the next guy. What did that reliever end up doing right after Ellie? Well, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it went walk, hit by pitch, single. He didn't get anyone else out. They took him out of the game with the bases loaded. So I get the concept as to why you would want to swing 3-0 from time to time. I'm not opposed to it. But if you're going to swing at it, you can't hit the ball on the ground, Nick. And that's easier said than done. That's why I don't like swinging at 3-0, personally. I don't think it's the right move in that situation to be swinging at a 3-0 pitch. And I was wrong when I tweeted that I said that he was selfish, I think is the term I use. It was a selfish move. That's probably a little bit overkill. But I also was frustrated at the fact that Fraley had his head up his tail too when he had the fastest player in baseball on first base on an 0-0 pitch. Ellie takes off to steal second base and he swings at a ball. Now I get it. The ball's a hittable pitch. But when you're up there with nobody out, let him get to second base, nobody out, with 1 strike. Who cares? I mean, those are the small things, in my opinion, that change. Again, you can beat the Rockies maybe, and I'm not suggesting that you can't beat better teams when you make these decisions, but when you get down to nut-cutting time at the end of the season, those little things matter. They do. They do. They're deflating. And to give Fraley credit, he came back, hit a bomb later in the game, made up for it, and Ellie hit a double, so maybe I should just shut my mouth and stop talking about it. But that's kind of my own rationality behind my thought with the 3-0 pitch with Ellie.
it seemed like this team was maybe a little bit more aggressive earlier in the game than they normally are. So I just wonder if that was a strategic game plan going into this game. Normally the Reds are this team that grinds out at bat after at bat, and they get the pitch count up. But maybe the Reds were looking at this game. The Rockies, the one thing that they do pretty well is they have a pretty good back of their bullpen. Now, of course, the Reds, Jake Fraley hit a 2-run home run off of maybe their best reliever today. But maybe their approach was, hey, let's try to we're not really worried about how high of a pitch count Carl Kaufman has. We want to take our hacks against this guy and see if we can get some runs. So I think that was maybe part of the game plan. I don't know. Jake Fraley puts one in the river. No one's complaining about it. Ellie puts one in the river. No one's complaining about it. That kind of thing. I get what you're saying. I don't know. I would need to see more of a sample than like just today, because I think today might have been a just today thing, and that was their approach given what they were up against.
Again, it was the hardest hit ball in the game. I'm not naive to that. We could sit here and debate this forever. No one's going to be able to be proved right or wrong. I see some people saying the next guy flew out. Yes, my apologies. Fraley did fly out. But then the next inning, I believe he came out. He didn't get one single guy out. He was all over the zone. And I guess I just didn't think in that spot that was the right move to make. But, hey, I'm here nor there. Luckily, many of you are happy that I'm not the manager. I just don't think in a million years that that's the right move and that's the right decision in that spot for Ellie De La Cruz. And we'll keep it moving. As far as anything else goes today, I don't really have anything to add from a game-to-game perspective on this specific game. I do want to say one more thing. There was a lot to be made out of that whole Jonathan India, catcher's interference. He didn't like the call, that whole thing. Nick, I don't know if you've seen it, but in my opinion, that's a big nothing burger. Okay. A couple things. One is, was it catcher's interference? I think it was. Let's just argue, though, that you say that it wasn't. The catcher was arguing, okay, with the umpire behind him, and if you watch the replay, that's really the only reason the catcher didn't catch the ball, because he was not paying attention to the fact that the ball was coming in, because he had already heard that the umpire was making the call that he was out at second. Mahle was dead at the plate. I'm telling you, go back and watch the game. Go back and watch the replay. Mahle was dead at the plate, and the only reason the catcher didn't catch the ball is because he wasn't paying attention to the play, because he was sitting there looking at the umpire who was making the call. Go back and look. It wouldn't have mattered. I'm telling you right now, the whole thing wouldn't have mattered. I think it was the right call, but even if it wasn't the right call, I can promise you Mahle was dead to right at the plate. Don't believe me? Go back and watch it. That's my own opinion on that whole thing.
Yeah, it was definitely the right call. The runner doesn't even have to make contact with the catcher, but if he stands in front of him when he's trying to do anything, it's automatically catcher's interference. That's the easiest call that home plate umpire had to make today.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm not really going to lose it on India.
No, he was trying to buy a walk.
He thought it was ball 4, and it was a weird situation, and it is what it is. Maybe maybe India probably should have been looking to swing at that pitch. And maybe that's more of a criticism. If you really
he should have put the ball in play. Yep.
But I don't know. I didn't. Whatever.
Yeah. All right. Got some Reds in my LB. Considering it's 3:35 today, I know that there's probably not a whole lot of action. But I did see this picture, Nick, and that is an elite glove, brother. Who is that?
That's our guy Chase Petty, who will be pitching tonight for the Dayton Dragons at 7:05. So if you got MLB TV, tune into that, because Chase Petty is electric, having a great start to the season. Started a little bit late this year, but he has a 1.50 ERA, 26 strikeouts in 24 innings. We do have one final, though, Trace. Chattanooga, they lost 2-1. The Joe Boyle experience was in full effect. 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 7 walks, 4 strikeouts. Boyle's got a 4.80 ERA with Double-A Chattanooga. He's got 82 strikeouts in 54 innings pitched. Yay. But he's got 53 strikeouts, 53 walks in 54 innings pitched. So, guy that you love to see, get something going, because I don't think he's all that far away if if he can have any. I don't think he has to have good control. He just has to have not completely atrocious control. The Louisville Bats got rained out today as well, so they won't be playing tonight.
Were they on the road?
In Charlotte. Yeah, in Charlotte. They'll be playing a doubleheader on Friday.
Who, where, what, when, and why, Nick?
All right, so Friday, Reds back in action. Of course, a day off tomorrow. I think a much-needed day off for the Reds, for us, for everyone. Reds will be hosting the Braves starting on Friday. Luke Weaver. Reds really need a big start out of Luke. We've talked about it all year. We like Luke Weaver, but just I don't know. It just hasn't all clicked for him. Hopefully it can here in the near future. The Reds will be playing the Braves, who are 47-26. They have won 7 straight games. They play the Phillies tonight. But yeah, the Reds will be playing a great Braves team. Jared Schuster is it's his turn in the rotation, but they have not officially announced him as a starter. Young pitcher, only 24 years old, had a really good start though at his last outing, although it came against the Colorado Rockies. 5 2/3 innings, he allowed 1 run. So Trace, are we going to say it? Like, are we going to say, let's just take 1 out of 3 in this series?
Yeah, I mean, I you believe it or not, listen to me, Chad. I'm not doing it for a superstitious reason. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. This upcoming series against the Braves, we take 1 out of 3. That's a success. It really is. Yeah. Keep it moving. Keep the mojo going. Don't care if we win on Friday or Saturday. I'd prefer not to have to make it on Sunday. We might just accidentally sweep them like we did the Houston Astros when I said this the last time. But again, I'm trying to keep my relatively realistic expectations right in line. It's starting to feel special. It's starting to feel like this is it's just different. And if you thought there was a chance that I was going to break any kind of streak from a jinx standpoint, a superstitious standpoint, you would have been wrong. So for all of you that are in here now, and for all of you that have been begging for this since I started the show, this is for you, chat. I don't know if I'm being a good parent. I don't know if I'm being a good husband. Probably not either. But when nature calls, you got to do it. So here goes nothing. This is to the chat. This is to all of you.
3:39 on a Wednesday.
Yep. Here we go. Have to call off the rest of the day. Yeah, here I am. You know what? I don't have anything else to say outside the fact that it is what it is. It's a term I've used on this show before, I think, Nick. That's what I got to say about it. All in Christ again. All in Christ. Should I go there, chat? Should I go there, chat?
I don't know where you're going.
AJ kind of brought it up a little bit earlier. I don't think I'm going to go there. All in Christ, you're very much appreciated. I love you. Thank you for the super chat. 11 going for 17. You're the man. If you know, you know, chat. That's all I got for you. Nick, I don't know what else to say from here, brother.
11 in a row. I mean, just completely changes the entire trajectory of this season. I knew the future was bright for the Reds. I knew things were trending in the right direction. I believed it, and it feels good. It feels good. I didn't think it was going to happen this year. I didn't think there'd be anything like this, and this is just icing on the cake of what I felt was coming for this team. And we'll see where this ride takes us, because right now it's been as fun as you could possibly imagine. I mean, I just think back to when the Reds lost 4 in a row to Pittsburgh. How low the vibes were. I mean, that was like what, a month ago?
Yeah.
And then for them just to turn the season around, and man, it's just been incredible. Go Reds. Go Reds.
That's right. I want to say one more thing, as I always do. I am getting ready to dunk a basketball. Nick is getting ready to show off his pillow, as he does after every single win. If this is your first time coming in here, we appreciate you coming in here. We do this after every single Reds game. Tomorrow we will be off because they don't play. We'll miss you. But we'll be back in here better than ever on Friday. I want you to know that I am making sacrifices because I can't go down to the ballpark till the Reds lose. I just can't do it. I can't change the show up. I can't change the mojo up. We can't do nothing different until the Reds lose. I'm not doing it. I'm going to be here better than ever tomorrow or on Friday. And as always, we do have Chatterbox Reds night again. July 1st will be the opportunity to purchase probably merch to get a ticket, and that will be on July 17th. I do want you to guys, as always, to remind yourself to mark that off in your calendars if you plan on going, and July 1st is the date. First come, first serve. Got 150 tickets. At first, when I bought these, I was a little concerned. I didn't know if we were going to be able to get to 150. I'm thinking that we probably will. I don't know that for sure, but I'm thinking that's going to be the case. I don't know if there's anything else to add on your end, Nick, but you have a cage pillow to show.
I believe so.
See if you can figure this out. You've done this so many times. I think you'd be a pro by now. Look at this. Oh, man. Sure enough. Still can't get it right.
Maybe that's part of the good vibes.
I think it is, but we got to see it. We got to see it. Put it right in the put it right in the camera's face. Look at that. That is what a ridiculously pillow that is.
This is.
I don't know how it started. People in the chat are asking when the first episode was that actually came in.
Red Sox.
Red Sox. Go back and find it. Red Sox. All right.
What a time to be alive.
As always, Nick, we have promos to do. Well, if you want to watch Off the Bench, watch tomorrow's Off the Bench. How about that? And if you want to watch tomorrow's Off the Bench, that is Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. till noon. But as always, please go and download, rate, and review Chatterbox Reds. We can't thank you enough. You guys have no idea what you mean to us, how much it means to us that you come in here every single day. The Reds are eventually probably going to lose a game, and if they do, still come back in here and have some fun. We're going to grind this season out no matter what happens because this team is just hella fun. There's so much fun. You can't make up how much fun this team is. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate all of you watching this dumb show night in and night out. So from the bottom of my heart to yours, I got a basketball to dunk, and I just want to say thank you one more time. What I'm going to do, I've got no clue. But we'll figure it out as we go. Athlete